But you had a good chance to spend time with him when you were doing the recordings in Graceland. Can you tell us a little bit about those recordings?
Yeah, those. That's when I really got to be the closest with him. You know, in a more intimate setting in the jungle room in Graceland. RCA was really after him to record a record, and he agreed to record if they would come and bring a mobile unit, and so he could stay at home and record. And so they used the jungle room. They set it up as best they could to like a recording studio, and Elvis would come downstairs, and we'd all be down in the room, and he would joke around and would talk, you know, and it was all small talk, not anything serious. And then we would get right into the music, rehearsing it, and he would come and stand with us, you know, with the quartet and the suites, and we'd work out our harmony parts and our oohs and ahs and the background parts. And he had a hand in that, you know, figuring out what he wanted. And other times he would just let us do what we wanted, you know, whatever we heard. And he would either like it or not like it, and a lot of give and take, you know, back and forth on creating the sounds. But there was one night in particular when we were all in the room. We thought he was coming down, and Charlie Hodge came down. And he said, "Elvis is not coming down right now." He said he's up in his closet. He wants to redo his whole wardrobe, so he's getting rid of everything. He's going to get a whole new wardrobe, not just for stage, but his casual clothes as well. And so if there's any of that stuff you guys might want, you know, I'll let you guys go up one at a time and see what's see if there's anything that you want. And I get the opportunity to go upstairs. It's just me. I go up and I'm in the closet. I'm in his closet with him, and he's going through clothes, and he'd take those clothes out. He'd take a shirt out or something and hold it up, you know, to me like he's wondering how I'm gonna look in that shirt. And of course, anything you handed to me, I'd go, "Oh yeah, Elvis, I like that, man. That's good. I can wear that," you know. And of course, knowing all along that I would never wear the stuff.
You never wore it.
No. No. I immediately, when I got home with them, I put them in storage.
Okay. But it has been very special, you know. You're there just to do a recording, and then Charlie comes down and say, "You guys, Elvis don't have time." He decided to clean up his closet, you know, for clothes. And I can imagine it's expensive to have a lot of musicians and recording people, technicians sitting there waiting for recording.
Oh yeah.
It was just.
Yeah, it's thousands of dollars being spent, you know, to have all of us, not only just our expenses to be in town, but you know, the paying us for you know, all that work is union work, you know, and there's union scale that you have to pay each singer and each musician, you know, per song. Sometimes per song and sometimes per hour, but so yeah, it was a huge waste of money for RCA for sure.
Yeah. Back to the jungle room and the sessions. You were there 5 or 6 days. How many days did you spend there? And it must have been pretty crowded in that room with so many musicians.
It was very crowded. You know, in a normal recording studio too, you have different rooms, you know, for different instruments and for the vocalist. The vocal booth is a separate room, and then the drums are usually in a closed-in area or a room to itself, and then your guitar amps will be in special places, you know, with big baffling sound baffles, you know, in front of the guitar amps, so that all the instruments don't bleed into each other, you know, in the mic. Because when they record, you want to have as much separation between each instrument and each voice that you can possibly have, so that when you go to mix, you have more control over each part, you know, and you can really make a beautiful record that way. But in the jungle room, you know, just everything was all crammed in there. There was a couple of small separators between a couple of the guitar amps, and I think there was a little sound thing just around the front of the drums. But everything else is just open in the room. And, you know, you go back and listen to those records and you wonder how in the world did they turn out as well as they did, because in that situation, all the instruments would be bleeding into everybody else's mic. You know, the vocal mics would be picking up the drums or the guitars, and vice versa. You know, that you would just think it would just be a roaring wall of sound. But those records turned out great, man. They just, and I'll never forget the first song I was part of. And this is kind of unique too. Elvis came down on my first night of recording, and "Hurt" was the first song that he recorded that night.
Amazing.
And I'll never forget. He only sang that song like twice. Normally in a studio, you know, you sing the song over and over, and you know, you could sing it 10 or 20 times, you know, before you figure you've done your best or whatever. And he literally sang that song twice, and one of those takes, you know, was the record. It just blew me away. And the rest of the songs, it wasn't like he struggled and you know, would have to stop and, you know, no, let's go back. And he was well prepared with those songs. He just sang through them, you know, top to bottom. And then you know, if he wasn't happy, he would go back and sing it again, you know, maybe 2 or 3 times, or if that many, or he would do it for the backup singers. Of course, if we had made any mistakes or those kind of things, we could always go in the studio, you know, here in Nashville and redo anything that we needed to do. But we never got a call to do that. They just took them in the studio here in Nashville, and they made great records out of all the recordings.
Do you have a favorite song among the songs that you recorded with Elvis, and do you also have a favorite song among the songs you were singing with Elvis on stage?
Well, one of the songs that was fun to record, because me and JD had bass parts on it, was "Way Down." If you remember that song.
Yeah, I love it.
That's one of the first ones we recorded in the jungle room, and on that chorus, at the top of the chorus, that's me doing the first "Way Down," way down. And then the very last one, JD does the way on down. So he and I are trading off, you know, through the whole song with that. Just want to throw that out there. Get a little bit of credit, you know, where I can. So that was probably the most fun one. And Moody Blue sticks in my mind too. You know, the song Moody Blue. Of course, the record was called Moody Blue too. But whoa, Moody Blue, tell me, am I getting blue? I mean, it's just a great song, and I loved hearing him sing it. Well, on stage, probably the biggest thing. It felt like it was the biggest thing we did. You know, was American Trilogy. And of course, we had, you know, the Stamps. We had a special part in that song as well, where he would let us shine a little bit. And it had such a, you know, it started off so calm and soft, and it built into such a crescendo. I mean, it was just huge. And so that was one of the songs that was the most fun to do.